I've been playing that all day. All right, welcome to episode 135 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers. It's been a little while. We've had some stuff going on and had to take a break, and now we're back, hopefully, with most of us. I'll tell you ahead of time, Chris is not here because his camera, for some reason, hates him. Don't know why. We blame Zoom and some other stuff, possibly.
We'll have an explanation later in the show.
Yeah, we'll figure out something. We tried to get him to just come snuggle with Steven, but he hasn't responded. So we're waiting to see how that happens. But who has joined me this week so far, Steven.
We missed you.
Rachel.
Hi, welcome back.
And Chase.
Hello.
See, I didn't forget anyone's names.
Well, thank God for that.
It's been a week. I wouldn't even be surprised at this point. We've dealt with 2 family deaths and a bunch of other stuff going on, so we're just like, okay, let's not do this anymore. So, but we're back with the show. So I apologize once again for the last episode being skipped, but kind of had to. So we'll jump into what we have been doing though, so we can at least get caught up on that. So Rachel, we'll start with you. What have you been doing?
Well, it just started raining at my house, so that's a new development. It's been thundering for the last, 2 hours.
It's been raining on and off here too.
And well, I finished a book. I wanted to finish Hexed before I left on my trip, and so I have kind of started the next book in this series, Hammered. And I think this one is he's gonna try to kill Thor, so we'll see how that goes.
Just the way you worded that could be like you finished writing a book, but then before you started the next one, you got drunk. Like if it just the wording of that sounds like that's what you were saying.
I was hexed and then I was hammered.
Well, that's the titles of the book. Blame Kevin Yearn on that one. And so then I also started another book called Jonathan Barrett, Gentleman Vampire by P.N. Elrod, and it's an older book, and it's actually like 3 or 4 books in one volume. So it's very dense, but it's good so far. It's got that like style of humor that you don't really see anymore, which is it's like early 1900s, late 1800s is the time period that it's placed in. So it's very formal humor, but the actual humor is like between the lines, if that makes sense. And I imagine it'll kind of adapt and change as the years go on because it's supposed to follow him through many, many years of his life, which is very interesting. And then I was at an estate sale actually like last weekend, and they had a bunch of like TV series and DVDs and stuff like that. A lot of the DVDs were like existential stuff and mysticism and religious stuff. Mm-hmm. But then they had like the entire series collection of Angel and half of Gilmore Girls, like the first 4 seasons, and all for literally all that I just said. They wanted $30 for it, and I was like, all right, I'll bite. The Angel series collection was sealed, so nice. I was like, okay, bet.
Is it the half of the Gilmore Girls that has your buddies in it?
I mean, it's got one of them in it. So, but and then I've been playing lots of Sea of Thieves, so that's been fun. Enjoying Safer Seas and enjoying playing with just people that seem to want to have fun when playing this game.
That's the idea.
On not so Safer Seas. And then I've decided that when I start going and looking at like games at retro stores, I'm going to look for more GameCube games next. So that'll be on my stuff.
Good luck.
So we'll see. I found I found some good stuff at yard sales before, so you never know. There's a few things on my list that I'll look out for, but we'll see.
Any particulars?
I just want a copy of Shadow the Hedgehog. That's all I want. Like,
you have a copy. I just need to ship it to you. Remember?
Oh yeah, you did, right? Yeah.
Well, she's done collecting now.
That's all I want. Nothing else for me then. So, but and then also I've been preparing for my California trip on stupid early Monday morning.
California.
Very excited. I've actually never been to California before, so this will be farthest west I've been is the far west side of Texas.
I've been a few times. What part are you going to?
Well, I'm flying into LAX, and then I think well, it's going to be early enough in the morning that I'm not super worried, and also like I'm visiting and staying with a friend while I'm there, so I don't have to worry about driving. In fact, he said I'm not allowed to drive while I'm there, and I said, "Good, I will be a passenger princess in your big, huge truck." So it'll be great. No one will mess with us because that thing's a tank. And so I think he lives out near Ventura. But we're going to Universal Hollywood and Disneyland DCA, and then we're going to a horror convention for the weekend, which is gonna be great. If you guys know me, you know I'm a big Spooky Times fan. So
Where's it being held? At the old E3 building?
Oh no, it's it's Long Beach actually.
Okay.
So is where the convention is. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I want to see all the cool merchandise and vendor items there, and I think there's like haunts like inside the con that you can go through, because a lot of it is like people advertising their wares, and a lot of these companies outfit either
That's
local
neat.
haunts or bigger haunts and they're showcasing their technology. So I think it would be really
What
fun.
better way to sell your costumes than to scare people with it?
I know, right? Exactly. So of course, because I'm flying, if there's any like big items that I get, I'll have to ship it to myself, which is going to be fun. But I don't think I don't know that I'm going to be buying a lot of stuff. There's some items
if you don't leave that con with something from Beetlejuice, then they failed as a convention.
That's what I'm saying. Actually, the two outfits that I'm wearing are Beetlejuice related. I have I call them my Beetle Babe dresses. One of them is a striped dress because it matches his striped suit, and the other one is a dress that I actually made by hand cutting out a bunch of beetles, and it's his guide outfit dress, and I have a trench that goes with it and everything. So
nice.
Awesome.
Yes, it's very exciting.
All right, Chase, what about you? What have you been up to?
I was absent from the last episode because
so were we.
Well, the episode
one before that one.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
The missus and I decided to go down to Dunedin, which is not quite all the way, but it's further south in the South Island, to see the international rugby game, the New Zealand All Blacks versus England Roses. Rugby is like the national sport here, basically, so New Zealanders take it quite seriously, and it was good. It's good fun. Really fun environment, actually. Went to a local game store, which I will not name due to potential legal reasons. Not that anybody from New Zealand's probably listening, but it was quite funny.
What did you
do? No, so it was quite humorous because we looked it up, and because they had some games that we were interested in getting, and as we were driving there, Chanel was like, "You do realize that this is just going to be like out of somebody's garage, right?" I was like, "What? Nah, the pictures look totally legit, like all this stuff." She's like, "No, this is going to be like some operation out of somebody's garage." And I was like, "Oh, okay." We got there. It wasn't even out of somebody's garage. It was out of somebody's spare room in their house.
Oh, no.
Wow.
And she was like, "Yeah, I used to work for a city council. What's basically happened is they don't want to pay for like any they didn't want to like basically pay all this extra money and like GST and all this other stuff. So they're just running it out of their house and hoping nobody dobs them in." I was like, "Hey, whatever. As long as nobody gets mad at what they're doing, I guess." So we walked out of there with a PS2, A copy of Dynasty Warriors 2 for me, copy of Indiana Jones for her.
And
And then we
missing
also yeah, and then we also did I got a copy of the original Xbox Knights of the Old Republic because
Nice.
I'm looking forward to trying that. I've never played it, so I'm looking forward to playing it at some point.
It's an
Surprised you
involved
didn't
one,
get
but
it
a
on
good
your
one.
Switch.
Oh man, I haven't touched my Switch in ages.
The Xbox
have
version
one?
with backwards
I know.
compatibility, I think, runs a little bit better than the Switch version almost.
Played. I think Swan touched on this the last time that you guys were on. Played Stranded Deep with him and died horribly many times.
No, we did great.
No.
We just realized that we should have made the animals passive because they kept eating us alive.
Died horribly many times.
Bored.
Been getting back into terrorist hunt and R6 Vegas with the boys. That's been really good. Really enjoying that. And Gloomhaven's still going on, our weekly Gloomhaven play. Shinoa just unlocked a new character and is like leagues ahead of us in like everything. So yeah, it's been good.
Awesome. All right, Steven, what about you? What have you been up to?
I've except for one, I've surprisingly been playing a lot of free games and getting addicted to those. I'm still playing Multiverses. I'm a cog in the machine where I log in every night to do whatever missions they want me to do for experience. I'm happy they announced season 2, so we are getting Samurai Jack and Beetlejuice will be coming to the game. So on Monday they're going to talk more about it. So I hope they don't go back on making their battle passes like cost money, and I hope they just make it where you just have to grind through it. Speaking of grinding, I've also been playing Zenless Zone Zero from the same people who made Genshin Impact and
Say that 10 times fast.
And yeah,
Zenless
And
Zero,
Honkai
Zenless
Star Rail,
Zero,
and
Zenless
it's
Zero,
basically
Zenless Zero, Zenless Zero,
for me it was
Zenless
like a
Zero.
very well done like Devil May Cry-ish
It's a
hack and
diction
slash,
exercise.
just with a whole lot of different currencies that luckily you don't have to really pay money for. It's just one of those things you just have to keep playing.
I love that Steven just
Um,
ignored us like, oh god, the children. Let me just keep
It's-
talking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a diction exercise. Zenless Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero. So
Brought to you by not Zenless Zero.
good
a bit better.
effort.
Yeah.
Chris, who washed away, we were playing Power Wash Simulator, the Alice in Wonderland, which wasn't too bad. It at least stayed true to their source material, unlike the Back to the Future one that never wanted to mention Back to the Future at all, or
Which
any
is
characters
weird.
from it, or anything. And we're looking forward to now that they're updating it free for more levels. I was like, okay, we'll never get out of there. I know we obliterated Terrorist Hunt, and we shot so many terrorists that I know all of us are now doing the campaign.
Oh,
And Chase makes fun of Jeremy and I because we look like twins on the helicopter. I also saw some clips of an old show on TikTok, and I was like, this is actually really good. It reminds me a little bit of like Police Squad and Naked Gun, and it's Sledgehammer, the complete series. So I was like, I'm going to track down the DVD.
there you go.
Not in a estate sale. And lastly, there's a lot of events that have been going on this month for some reason. So I watched SGDQ, where I watched a dog called Peanut Butter play Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. That was awesome. And now I'm watching Evo through the weekend to see all the new announcements, such as the Multiverses one. So it's
Surprised we still haven't heard anything about like a release date for the Marvel vs. Capcom collection.
Yeah, they're showing it off there, so a lot of people got to play 3 games from it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's hoping that maybe tomorrow they're going to say, like, it's out, or something like that. And then the physical comes, like, Metroid Prime Remastered comes a few weeks later or something.
Right.
Is MVC3 still is that still a game that a tournament that they still have in there?
It is a separate one. They have a separate room for like all the other tournaments.
I was gonna say because it used to be a big, like, it used to be a prime tournament. So I was gonna say they might have saved it for the finals.
It's very organized now. It almost looks like a fighting game E3.
Yeah.
And one thing if you like builds and stuff, is there's an interview that they did with how they brought Street Fighter 3 Third Strike to there, because they actually built all with different types of sheet metal and such. Basically, like its own retro arcade cabinet that accepts USB controllers, and it basically they're going to be selling them soon. They're selling some at the show, but they're like these two CRT TVs like connected with this tube, so you can. It's insane. But I was just like, how are they bringing the game Street Fighter 3 Third Strike to Evo? That's how. It was pretty impressive.
Lord. All right. Well, we'll jump into, I guess, what I've been doing here. So I was hoping Chris would be on here. He's had some technical issues, which is why he's not joining us. But I finally finished Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Really enjoyed the game. At the end, I think it really kind of grinds on. Like it's just kind of doing a bunch of stuff to kind of extend itself out longer than it kind of feels to. It's like, okay, this should be over by now. But I really liked it. And it does let you go back to go and see if you want to finish anything, but I'm taking a break from it right now. So we'll see how I go with that. Afterwards, I went ahead and started up and then finished in 2 days, Dark Side Detective, A Fumble in the Dark. And it was just as funny as I had hoped it would be. That game is so stupid in the best possible ways, including I found Ash Williams from The Evil Dead in it.
Nice.
He's not called that, but it is about as obvious as it can be when you find this hut with the two guys, the detectives. They're not the normal ones. It's two ghosts I'm playing as for this mission, who look at the house and go, maybe we should go, because if you see the cabin glowing, we should be going. And it's just, Ash Williams sitting there with his chainsaw hand and his shot going like, I'm a little busy. Can you go now? So that made me smile. They also had a great joke at Valve's expense when I'm in a sewer and I clicked on a sewer valve and it says, don't touch that. It'll take 33% of all of your earnings.
Ouch.
Jeez.
It's like, damn. So it just as funny as it was. I got a bunch of videos and screenshots and stuff. We'll probably post later, but it's great. You should play it. The other thing I've been messing with is a Nintendo Championship Edition, which I finally got to play today. I went over to Brent's house. He wanted me to come by. We watched a ridiculous movie, ordered some pizza, and played some games. He was trying to cheer me up after this whole week. But we were competing with it, and of course, we had to use the actual Nintendo Switch NES controllers.
Of course.
I only have one now because he enjoyed this so much. We went and hunted down one more copy that GameStop had, bought it, and then he's borrowing my other NES controller so we can both practice more competitively.
Just let him know those are on sale at the Nintendo store online right now.
I let him know like 3 times. He hasn't ordered them yet. So I was like, look, take this one and we can at least play that. But it was funny because, he and I grew up, we're about the same age. We played a lot of these same games. Our scores were hundreds of seconds off each other, back and forth consistently. Like we had a few times we would get exactly the same score, or like we would keep going through it. It was really funny.
It's awesome.
And I'm waiting to see what would happen when we get like together with a bunch of kids and let them play this and see what happens. And it does mention, like, some of you guys had a hardship, of playing this because you weren't born yet. So you couldn't experience these events. And I was like, damn. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot better than people kind of made me believe it would be through some of the reviews and stuff. I don't know how it's going to work. Like, we can't compete and show our scores to each other, which is a weird feature you can't do.
Yeah, it seemed to be like there wasn't individual leaderboards. There was just like the main leaderboard. So people are hoping that maybe they put that in there just to get you more competitive or something.
Which I've already placed first on a Metroid one today, so I'm sure that's not going to last. But it's on there. I played that game so much as a kid. But I'm really liking it. The stuff that comes with the physical edition is really nicely made. That gold cartridge and its acrylic stand is very detailed, nice little touch of the pixel art on the back of it that's molded in. The pin set is, I love pins, so that was great to find. Which is another fun fact. When you unlock pins in the game, you can press start and flip them over, and it just shows the back of the pin with a clip. And I'm wondering, like, are there some pins that have like a secret stamped on the back or something on there? Like, we're gonna have to go through every one of them. Press start, flip it. Nope, nothing there. Next one. And like, why would you do it otherwise? Like, it's such a weird thing just to flip it over and just be like, oh, look, it's gold with a button. Who cares? I don't know. But we're going to play that more, so that's good. I've been watching a couple different shows, and of course, we just finished Acolyte. And as much as people like to complain and so forth, I loved it. We thought it was really, really good. I thought the choreography was great. The additional lore to Star Wars was very well handled, because this is all during the High Republic, when the Jedi Knights are considered like this big, powerful group, and they don't have all the government oversight and everything else going on with the Senate. And it's just kind of showing that, yeah, they had some problems. They were being stupid and blind to everything, and how everything was building onto it. But I liked it. I can't wait for a second season. I'm glad to see what they did. Good Lord, did they kill a lot of people off? That was the most I think I've seen people killed in Star Wars in a while. And that's saying something.
More than episode 3.
Well, not as many kids, but yeah, man babies. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them got killed watching this, and I don't care. But actual children, no, I don't think they killed as many. They did kill one though. They killed one brutally. Like, good God. But then on the other side, we want to talk about brutality. I did finish The Boys season 4 last night.
Yeah, I need to watch that this week.
I will not spoil it, but holy crap. Like,
that's all I've been hearing is like, holy crap, that finale
is like, so we know the next season is the final season. It was so depressing how this ended. But Rachel, I don't know if you've watched this last season yet.
I know what you're gonna say, I think.
Idiots and balls.
Idiots and balls, exactly. Like, literally, one of my friends,
you stupid idiots. Balls.
Called me, like, as she was watching it, paused it, and just started laughing. And I went, what's going on? And then she goes, Rachel, President Robert Singer was briefly possessed by the spirit of Bobby Singer. And I was like, oh, did he say idiot and balls? and then they go, yeah. And I was
within a minute of each other, because he's complaining to two of the people that didn't do their job, and he's like, idiots. And then he's like playing putt-putt where he's at. He missed it and goes, balls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I decided that I'm not gonna watch it as it comes out. I'll catch up in my own time. But it's just one of those things that I'm like, oh yeah, Kripke is gonna get to do his 5-season show that he's always wanted to do. He likes the 5 seasons. That didn't happen with Supernatural, but
yeah,
here we are.
We're technically kind of 5.5 seasons already in, because Gen V, that whole season ties deeply into all this. So it basically is between 3 and 4. You should watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had The Boys Diabolical, which a lot of people wrote off as a bunch of weird animated ones, but a lot of them are proving to be very connected in certain ways. So there's actually like 4 or 5 episodes you kind of need to watch to really enjoy it. So that's good.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up on it. I remember watching the first episode or 2 of season 1, and I had to watch it slow, because not that I'm bothered by gore, but it just and I'm not.
If you don't mind gore, nudity, lots of cursing.
I'm not bothered by any of that, but just
sadomasochism.
A lot of the content in it was just so dense. Like, all of that together at the same time was just so dense that I'm like, okay, I can't just binge this unless I'm in a particular type of mood.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I also heard of the little tiny Soldier Boy cameo.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything about that for spoilers, but because that's kind of very.
But I'm not going to give context.
Well, it's yeah. because people thought he was dead. So that's why I was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't going to mention it.
Well, I mean, I haven't said anything about him being alive or dead. So
It's still a cameo, but yeah.
but
Beyond that, the last thing I've got done is I did finally get my Part 107 drone license. So I'm legally able to do, commercial work for flights and so forth, which is nice.
Good job.
Yeah. I got kind of a laugh out of that. One of the other guys that has his license was flying, has now wrecked 2 drones, and I have not wrecked any. So I'm just picking on him about that.
I've had a drone nearly clip me before. So
someone being an idiot flying then.
Just a tiny little thing. Looked like a bat, basically. But
yeah, still shouldn't be that close to people without certain stuff.
No.
All right, so let's jump into our news then. All right, so to start us off, Xbox, apparently in the last 2 weeks, I need to look a little bit more into this, but just going to kind of lightly go over it. They've raised the cost of the Xbox Online services. So just like Netflix and PlayStation Network and all this other stuff, this is another one. Yeah, they Sony'd themselves. And that's what kills me, because one thing I liked about it, I was like, all right, at least Xbox Live kind of makes sense, because Sony, their tiers are confusing to me. Like, there's so many weird things. And now Microsoft is just as bad. Like, right now, I have no idea what I'm about to pay in like a couple of weeks, because one thing says I'm being charged $60 because it's my auto renewal on my sign in. But then I'm getting emails saying, no, you're going to be charged $80. And then, but no one can clarify what is what. And I'm going, this isn't good. Like, I look into this stuff and I have no idea.
So, I mean, you remember when like PlayStation raised their costs and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm going to keep what I got, which is the highest tier, and I usually end up, it's whatever. I use it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's back when I decided I wasn't going to use it anymore, because I wasn't using it enough, honestly, and I was like, why pay for it? So
but then with this one, and people were like, Xbox hasn't. I'm just like, just wait, and they're like, no, they're not gonna, and I'm like, just wait. So
everybody has,
and I'm like, everybody's gonna do this eventually, because we have a sound for that.
I don't have it on here
now. You know what could save either of those companies is a family plan.
No kidding.
Hey, Nintendo does that.
Yeah,
and I pay.
So
for
I
it,
tell people like, hey, pay me like $5 a year, and we'll all have all the perks.
But here's the thing. That doesn't get them enough money. They want more money, because corporate greed. So,
but if you're a PC player, they're going to lose money, because the deal is better for PC players to have Game Pass Ultimate, because that price went down.
Yep.
Because they became its own separate entity. So people are like, oh, sweet, I get day one games, I get all the good stuff for $12. But if you happen to have a console plugged in, now it's $20. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And you'll be grandfathered in if you have a certain tier right now. But if you ever stop, then they're going to shove you into the other tier. So it's just like, you better stay with the tier you have.
Well, apparently that's what I can't figure out, because I just have the basic. I just wanted to have Xbox Live, and okay, you want to give me a few free games? I really don't care. Which was just the basic.
So,
it was like $60.
Yeah. So what you're going to be getting with Core is you'll be getting a slight price increase, but they're going to give you all the Game Pass games except for day one.
That still, I still prefer having my physical games. That's like, we're going to make you pay more for a service you don't use.
But there's
Congrats.
some games
and I'm
you
like,
can't.
I actually considered going, do I want to keep Xbox alive, or do I finally just call it and stick to my computer and just start getting PC games? And I'm like, I actually had to have that conversation with myself, because it's getting to the point, it's getting ridiculous. And I don't like just increasing the price on me like that, because it adds up over time. Everyone's like, oh, well, the one for the Switch is so expensive. I was like, yeah, 8 people are on it. I pay $80 a year, but 8 of us, which is, 5 of my entire family and 3 of our friends, that we're just like, yeah, you guys are just going to have it for free. Enjoy, like, and I agree. Like, a family plan would be great. Xbox used to have one. We used it on 360 back in the day, where we would all have Xbox Live accounts and just pay that amount, and it was great. So I don't know, but
at least we don't have commercials yet. knock on wood.
Yeah, that got annoying with Amazon. When I was watching the final episode of The Boys, I kept having these long commercial breaks. I'm like, why do we pay for this? Like, what the crap?
Oh, I was thankful just because it said T-Mobile paid for all your commercials. I was like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, but they decided not to do that in the last episode. And like every couple of minutes, it was like minutes worth, like multiple ads. I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is not what I wanted or what I paid for.
But for
anyway.
$3, you can turn them off.
Some of them, they said they wouldn't even turn them off. They would just lessen them. And I'm like, that's not, I'm not paying you to lessen what I already don't like.
I'm just saying, corporate greed, man.
Yeah.
Corporate greed.
Corporate greed. I kind of wish I'd put that back on here, but I have to find the file, and I think it's on the other computer. And I've been kind of busy.
You have the other one? What the ass, man?
No, all I have is our menu select, press start, jump, and then I can play the music again. Or
Microsoft movement prices.
I'm going to be so confused when I'm editing, going, why is there? Oh, that's the soundbite. Moving on. All right. So our next bit here, talking with Xbox, is the fact that the FTC released a letter calling out Microsoft for the changes for Game Pass tiers, calling it a degraded service. And then Microsoft responded back going, well, all of these companies are having to change their models or change stuff. And it's kind of a weird restriction to say, you know, if you can never change it, like somehow that's supposed to happen. And I'm like,
we're not greedy. They're all greedy.
Yeah, like I kind of see both sides of it, but I also am kind of annoyed with Microsoft right now, so whatever. But it's just a mess. This FTC thing is never going to end, which is just, they're dragging it out to the point of kind of ridiculousness. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Go ahead, Chase.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what they're saying, though, because they were... I think the difference between obviously like Sony increasing prices and stuff, whereas Microsoft's just buying up all these development studios. So I think it's a little bit different in some ways.
That's the thing though. And we've talked about this before. Microsoft is still only the third largest, even after buying up all of these. Sony was still well ahead, and they had bought companies. They were smaller ones, but they were already in the lead buying those companies. So it kind of is a weird argument. And then their whole point was, well, if they do this, then Call of Duty won't be available everywhere. But Call of Duty is available everywhere. They have different options for how you can get it, but it's still there. So it's kind of confusing on how they're going about that, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was reading I actually read the FTC, like the letter that the FTC wrote to the Ninth Circuit Court. It's actually quite, it is quite interesting. Basically what they said, the thing to take away from it is that, and so I think I read another article that said the same thing, but basically all these changes are coming in line right before Call of Duty gets released.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're using Call of Duty as like it's essentially what's old is new again to me. Like remember pre-order culture, like the days of terrible pre-order culture where it used to be you could if you pay us extra money and we'll give it to you early type thing, and now it's Microsoft's like doing something.
Just happened with college football and a few other games that have done
that.
Not just Microsoft. There's a lot of people doing that.
No, I'm not blaming just them, but I'm just saying that I know that I said what's old is new again. Some people are still doing it, but Microsoft seems to be doing it now with Game Pass. Oh, if you get the highest tier Game Pass, you get everything day one. If you don't, then just wait. Like, go fuck yourself. It's like, oh, okay.
I know it would be considered like favoritism, but I wish the FTC would then tell us what is not a degraded service.
Yeah, I mean that the same way of that though, Chase, would be like going after Disney Plus, saying, well, you can pay for Disney Plus and watch all these Star Wars and Marvel shows now, or you can wait until we release the physical ones way down the line, so you can watch them then. And for other stuff, that's kind of how that boils down to. Like,
yeah, I don't want to talk about what Disney Plus did.
Oh God, what did Disney Plus do? Am I missing something?
Well, because under my phone
kind of out of the loop for 2 weeks here.
Under my phone plan, I had Hulu, but then they bought. But then they're like, "Oh, we're absorbing Hulu," So T-Mobile's like, we can't give it to you anymore because it's on Disney Plus. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, so when they're strengthening their library, they're taking away stuff from people who've had it.
Oh, so to get access to Hulu and Disney Plus, we just had to sign in our Hulu account. I didn't know that was I thought it was just like an option, not a requirement.
And then because they did that, they followed Disney's, does somebody else have your account? We're going to shut them out.
Oh God.
I was like, stop.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is going to be a mess, and a lot of these changes are kind of aggravating. I mean, for all sides of it. But at some point, something's going to have to give for all of these companies continuously raising the prices for streaming services, online game services, stuff like that, while still making that excuse. Well, if we don't do this, we'll have to have all this DLC. While then turning around and having all this DLC, like it's a threat you're still going through with, guys.
Yeah. I read off a couple things, but there was one thing in particular they said. Microsoft's post-merger actions thus vindicates the congressional design of preliminary halting mergers to fully evaluate. It was like, oh man. So basically they said Microsoft's vindicated everything that they complained about, and the whole reason why they're trying to stop them in the first place.
But see, even their biggest argument, though, was the Call of Duty thing of getting access to that. And they put all the documents out there and got that done. And that's still going out there. People are still getting it at the same time.
Well, was it just Call of Duty, though?
That was the big one they pushed for.
It was a drinking game, Chase.
Yeah, it became a drinking game. I'm part of that. And
if I had to drink right now, it'd be gone because we've said it 4 times already.
Yeah, I guess.
Like they brought in entire people and had entire days just talking about the Call of Duty deal and how that would be affected, because Sony swore up and down that if Microsoft got it, they would pull it from other people and nobody would get it. So Microsoft offered them, going like, hey, we'll sign this right now and you'll have Call of Duty. You'll get it. It's fine. The difference is that the people on PlayStation will have to buy it day one normally, while they'll have it as an option for Game Pass or purchase on Xbox on theirs.
And they still even haven't fulfilled all their promises after they posted a press release like, we're bringing Call of Duty to Nintendo.
I don't think that's fair to do that. It's such a quick turnaround. Huh?
Like, where is it?
It's probably on the next Nintendo system, but...
This thing, I'll try not to bore people, obviously, but just this last bit. So I think it's like the third paragraph. They say Microsoft's price increases and product degradation, combined with Microsoft's reduced investments in output and product quality via employee layoffs, see the FTC's February 7th, 2024 letter, are the hallmarks of a firm exercising market power post-merger. Vertical mergers can create harms beyond higher prices for consumers, including decreased product quality and reduced innovations. It's like, oh, damn. They just don't like throwing everything out there.
On the bright side, at least Bethesda unionized and Microsoft accepted it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
and it's not just ordinary people who unionize. These are artists, engineers, sound people, like everybody now. So I was like, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I'm looking at that, and there was a whole response from Microsoft about it as well. But a lot of this comes down to like, yeah, they're trying to break even to do this for the deal. They're still having to deal with all the court costs and everything, and redundancies and all that crap. Like, I don't like the studios being shut down or whatever's being changed. Some of it we kind of expected was going to happen. Anytime two groups get together, you're going to have that.
Well, there's going to be redundancies.
Well, there's going to be a few different things that are going to be changed, but
I just never expected them to shut down their only Japan studio. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Nobody gets that one. That's such a weird thing. But yeah, part of Microsoft's even response was like they barely mentioned subscription costs or any of that stuff during the trial. So now all of a sudden they're saying it's a big thing that they're talking about because those have changed, when that is not an uncommon thing. Like, it's a complaint for all subscription services, not just one. But yeah, they're even giving dates, examples, and everything about how much they focus on Call of Duty. And they're like, yeah, we kept all of that. All of that is still going. It's such a weird thing. Don't drink, Steven, because yeah, we would kill you by now. I don't care if it was just soda. You would be dead by now.
Well, in the letter, doesn't really mention Call of Duty until the very last paragraph, and they're just using it as an example of all these stuff is happening right before Call of Duty's coming out. But
yeah, I mean, that's gonna change. It's the same thing as like Amazon started doing commercials right before The Boys new season came out. Like that's one thing we're having to deal with. Or Paramount Plus decided later this year, before they had shows come out, that they were going to force even people that paid for a non-commercial subscription like me. I paid like $100-something for a year of no commercials. They're like, all right, cool. Now you have to have commercials. We're not even giving you an option. So a lot of them are going back and changing this stuff, and it's aggravating. Because they went through their law office whenever they replied back about it, explaining what their difference is. It's a whole long, boring thing, but it's pretty much talking about the fact that, you guys didn't mention any of this crap. You just kept bringing up Call of Duty, and we've done that. Like, that's fine. So
stay tuned to an Extra Quarters where we read the entire FTC letter verbatim.
We'll note it for if you need help sleeping.
We'll do a special recording that is.
Zenspath is now on the Calm app where we read your FTC filings.
Go to sleep.
Your moment of Zenspath.
Oh, God.
Dear Microsoft.
You're a degraded service due to Call of Duty.
It's going to be like Microsoft writing letters during wartime. Dear Rare, we're on the battlefield with Sony this time. They've released more games. The FTC is coming. I don't know when we can sleep.
Please send help and aid and food.
Are you sending the GamePass Core or the GamePass Standard? We need help.
I got a disturbing letter from you, Rare. It seems our child Connect died. What happened? Moving on. This is getting weird.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about worldwide screwed up IT outages.
It's coming in history. We love IT history making.
I wanted to bring this one up because I've seen a lot of people, like we're talking about a lot of stuff with Microsoft. So many people blaming Microsoft for this when it actually had nothing to do with them.
No.
Which is hilarious. But like when I went to get coffee this morning, so Starbucks had a message written out that Microsoft broke, that it was their fault. And other people were like putting up notes saying their computers are down because of it and reporting it. And we're like, that wasn't what happened. So there's a security company called CloudStrike that decided on a Friday morning to just issue out a update to Windows computers and other stuff without telling people or testing it, apparently, that as soon as activated, the computers would turn on and it would cause the kernel to overrun, go nuts, and lead to a blue screen of death on all Windows machines. Now, this could be fixed via an update if the computer could turn on. Thus, we see the problem.
Needs manual.
Yes. So you had to go in on every computer system manually, boot it up a few times until it would go into safe mode, then go in and find the update and remove that part of it in order for it to actually carry on and work. This brought entire airlines to their knees, government facilities, 911 stations.
900 flights were canceled in one of the airports in my area alone.
One of my coworkers was flying back and he went through, I think, Dallas or something. And when he got off the plane, he watched all the screens around him blue screen at the same time. And he's like, oh shit.
And that, kids, is why you don't install your Windows updates right away. Wait a day.
I would have said this was a good time to buy stock, but then that broke too.
Oh, and then also, some of the like memes and stuff that came out of this was the funniest thing I've ever seen. The one with it's the "This is fine" dog meme, but instead of the dog, it's Clippy. that one got me really good, and the one that I saw, it was.
I like the Final Fantasy one you shared though.
Oh, that one was really funny.
That one was good,
especially since it's called CloudStrike.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of Clippy, going back to Dark Side Detective, A Fumble in the Dark, there is a Clippy-like character that you get to maliciously just give up to be killed to fix a problem, and it's so funny because he's so annoying the entire time.
I was, but it was just so funny. And one of the other funny things that I saw with it, and this was not a funny situation, but
No.
the it was, but it also wasn't. It was one of those dark humor moments. Honestly, this entire situation was.
It's like the outsiders are laughing, but if you were affected, you're like, it's not funny.
Oh yeah,
I offered
Yeah.
to buy our IT department. It's like, I'll buy y'all a cookie. Y'all have had a day.
oh it was. Everyone was affected, but one of them said, guys, I called tech. We just have to unplug the country and leave it off for 30 seconds and then 30 minutes and then plug
Power
it back
cycle.
in. And I was like, oh my God. But no, and this was everywhere. And you're right, Jeremy. Literally an IT person or people had to go to every single computer physically and
Oh man.
and do and restore this essentially.
Mhm.
This was mainly for companies. It did not affect personal computers.
Yeah,
So
most people are not going to be running CloudStrike. Like,
no,
we're aware of
No.
it through stuff I can't really talk about, but
yeah,
it's not something you just run every day.
no, it
How
is
does it
not.
affect you, Chase?
Yeah, I saw a note on there. I was going to ask about that. You had some news from New Zealand. What
Yeah.
happened, Chase?
Oh man, do you want to talk about absolute chaos? It hit New Zealand at a 5 p.m. on a Friday.
About
Literally,
12 hours
like-
Everybody's
after us.
getting off work.
Literally, like, banks have shut down. Like, people are trying to, like, do their, like, weekend shopping and, like, all this other stuff. Banks are shut down. The flights are shut down. Like, you wanted to travel for your weekend? Go fuck yourself. Like, it was, oh man.
It was. Now here's something fascinating. One of the airlines that was unaffected was
Southwest, I think.
no, not just Southwest, was JetBlue.
Oh,
So-
Jesus, JetBlue.
So JetBlue, like, there was like a God, I think it was there's a meme of the CEO going, I don't got to do anything for the rest of the year. We've already made our annual budget. Like, we're good. Like, it was, people were snagging flights like left and right, at least in the States, of quite literally any airline that was still functional.
Yeah,
I-
basically they were running on such old equipment it never could run it or got the update.
all
We
of
haven't
my-
updated our
like,
computers
all of
for
my
ages.
friends, all of my friends at both work and just around were like, well, Rachel, thank God you're not leaving today. And I said,
Mm.
yeah, I would have cried right here, right now. Like,
Yeah.
but it's already resolved now, thank God. But that, kids, is one, why you don't do your updates immediately. Install your updates immediately, or really have auto update enabled.
That's why I'm waiting till next October to update to Windows 11.
Here's the
And-
problem though with that.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
Windows has said not to update, the CloudStrike software was updating anyways because they did
Yeah.
not need permission. It would just do it. It's a security patch.
It is.
So it's supposed to. So even if you set your Windows to not update till you say so, that program went, I don't give a damn. I'm going to do it anyways.
Well, I'm just saying in the general sense.
Yeah.
It's good practice to give it 24 to 48 hours before you install an update on your computer.
If we can take anything from this, is now we know what Y2K should have been.
Yes. And and also, what was the other thing? And that also, kids, is why you don't roll out updates on a Thursday night or a Friday morning.
Yeah.
It should
Never do it
always
Friday
be.
morning.
It should always be a Tuesday night or a Wednesday morning, because if something's going to happen, that gives you time to fix it without ruining everybody's day. So I'm not even in IT and tech, and I know that.
I was
One of
watching
my-
our poor
Common
IT
sense.
people and I'm just like, I feel really bad for y'all.
One of my mates that is in our D&D group, he works in IT, and he said when it happened, he was just like, come on, I wanted to go home early today. It's like,
never
and then he
again.
found out, then the news came out that it was a CloudStrike issue, and he's like, oh, fuck this, I'm going home anyway, it's somebody else's problem now.
One of my friends in IT, I sent him the Clippy meme, and I said, thinking of you, I hope you're surviving. Are you okay? And he just said no.
Oh, that poor man. Poor lady.
He quite literally, he was working on fixing something somewhere, and he
Mhm.
goes, I got attacked by a wasp, literally, while he was
Mm.
fixing something, and I was like,
Oh,
"Oh no,
man.
did you get stung?" And he goes, "No, it just was headbutting him." So I was like, "Why?"
I'm not going to sting you. You've already had a bad enough day. I'm just going to hit you a few times.
I'm just
going to
hit you a few times. So, but not like honestly.
We call that the pity sting.
Check on your IT friends this weekend. Buy them a drink. Give them a hug. Maybe just give them a cookie. Like
they may have already had a few drinks. Turn their heads. Don't let them lay face down.
Exactly. Turn their heads. Make sure they're okay. Do a wellness check.
Try not to cry. Lie down. Cry a lot.
Aspirin and water out for your IT people if they crawl out of their hole.
Friday was real rough for the IT friends, so make sure they're all right.
Yeah. They deserve raises that they probably won't get because, yeah. All right. Moving on. So it's a while back now. I don't remember when I added this when we were supposed to do the show last week, but hey, Nintendo dropped 3 Japan-only Game Boy Advance games on us for the Starfy series, which a lot of people in North America were not familiar with this character until the Nintendo DS release of the legendary Starfy, which is really good, by the way. It's a fun little Kirby-like game, as well as him showing up in Smash Brothers as an assist trophy a couple times. But we got Densetsu no Starfy, Densetsu no Starfy 2, and Densetsu no Starfy 3, all still in Japanese. Nothing was translated. They're playable, but good luck. You're going to have to kind of guess at what you got to do sometimes, but you'll make it.
Why did they do that?
Well, because it costs a lot of money to release them. It's like one of those games where it's like, yeah, you may not get much of the story, but you can actually play the game just fine. So they just released it for people to
like,
enjoy.
Do you really play Kirby for the story? Come on.
I don't want to have to guess what I'm doing inside of a menu. I might hit the wrong button.
The menu's actually pretty clear. It's like when you're in the story, like you'll have little sections where it'll bring up some text and then you kind of move on. You're just not going to know what they're saying.
Just fill in your own blanks. Like, I'll stop you, evil man. It's like, never. I was
going to check it out because I did like the legendary Starfy on DS. I thought it was cute. And now I'm not going to check it out because that's stressful. So
it's not that bad though. It's like trying to play Super Mario Brothers if it was in Japanese. Like you're not going to miss anything.
It's not like you're playing Snatcher in Japanese or
I don't care.
Or Miles Edgeworth in Japanese. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you've played Japanese games before. We know it. So just now you have them. Not like you've already paid for them. They're there. It's not like you're paying extra and you've already. Hell, I guarantee you already have them on your Switch. It's probably already updated.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But I'm just not going to look at them now. So.
I'm not going to look at you.
I hate to tell you, your Switch has an option for Japanese. You're just not going to play it now.
No, I'm just not.
I'm done with this.
I'm not going to look at those titles on NSO. That's all.
They're still cute little platformers. They don't even need. You're not going to notice much. It's actually a lot of fun. Jennifer's been loving them. She's been playing the living crap out of them. So, are you going to have the heart to tell her they're bad?
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just not going to play them.
We're giving you crap, Rachel.
Don't worry. After this, we have some good news to report.
We do?
Yeah.
We do?
No, we don't. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we do.
No, I don't think so. We'll see. But
I don't know.
On a serious note, give them a shot sometime. They are a lot of fun to mess around with. I've been having fun with them. And it's really great watching the ridiculous faces something is making as it tries to talk to you. And then you move on going, well, I hope that wasn't useful. And just have fun with the platforming. But moving on. Do you like Halo? Microsoft and Paramount Plus pretty much don't because they've just canceled Halo TV series after season 2.
We won!
I actually enjoyed part of it just out of spite.
I'd rather watch Red versus Blue 24-hour marathon.
I think
this is less cringy.
Is Paramount where the Knuckles show is?
Yes.
I think that's the only thing I want to watch that's on Paramount.
Well,
I'm thinking of canceling my subscription now because I was like, what can I watch on this now?
All of Star Trek is what I like on there. That's what I usually watch. And there's a couple other shows I've been enjoying, but yeah, no, I get you. But
if I may say something is when I watch the TV series, when you change designs through seasons because it didn't test well, or you just make baffling decisions, or worse, you admit you've never played the games, you kind of lose a significant chunk of your fan base, and then you need to appeal to people who don't know what Halo is.
The biggest thing I have
It
to
broke
say
the
is
cardinal rule.
I still think the people that think, oh, the helmet should never come off, don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They've never played Halo. They've never actually seen the story or the fact that the helmet comes off all the time. They don't always show it in the games, but that's not always something it can happen in shows and things. It's like they have to do something at some point. And I've always felt like that is such a weird argument to be like the whole thing is bad because of that. But then every time you point out, well, here's all the times that helmet came off, like they may not have shown it in the game, but they're walking around with the helmet off.
Well,
people are looking at him and talking to him like it's a normal thing. You just don't see it because you're in first person, and they didn't want to have a set design for a game, but you have to have a person for a TV show.
Well, for me, it felt like it was almost like a contractual obligation, because coming from watching the Marvel movies where I wanted to yell in the movie theater, like, hey, Spider-Man, stop taking off your mask just because we want to see you emote. Leave your mask on.
He does that in the comics all the time, though. Like, there's always times he's like pulling his mask off in the comics.
But when he does do it, he's on the top of a building and he's not like right in front of a train full of people or anything like that. He's not like just keeps taking it off over and over. And I'm like,
well, the one with the train, the mask caught on fire. His face was on fire. He kind of had to take it off. It's like, hey, your face is on fire. Just leave it there. You'll be fine.
Or Robert Downey Jr.'s got to talk. I better open my. I'm like, come on.
He doesn't care because everybody knows who he is. He just gave no shit. Like, I get it. Like, they're supposed to keep it for some of them, but it's not always as airtight.
All I know is I don't know why I had to see Master Chief naked. That's all.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, that's different. Yeah, I don't know on that one.
I get where you're coming from. I'm definitely on Swan's side on this one. Like,
I watched it. I was like, I'm gonna enjoy this because the fights are gonna be great when they fight the Covenant and the Flood and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why do I see his butt? Why is he naked? What are you doing?
After watching The Boys, I'm like, all right, whatever. That's less nudity than
I've seen. Yeah, but you're expecting it. I didn't.
No one expects what you see in The Boys. A man runs out a penis and explodes inside of it. That is not what you usually expect in The Boys.
To see Master Cheeks.
I can't believe you've done this.
Don't worry, Rachel. It's in English.
It's a cute platformer. He runs around and jumps around and he gets naked.
Oh, I've seen that in Middle
But are we talking about Halo? Now are we talking about Halo or The Boys? Okay.
Now she's talking about Raiden when he's jumping around naked, covering himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So
there's cartwheels.
So from what I've seen, I haven't watched the second season of Halo. I haven't had a chance to watch it or all of it. I did finish most of the first one. I liked the suit design they were going for when they were trying to design it. I thought the suit was done well. They got the Warthogs right. Those look great.
I didn't complain about any of the set designs at all. Those all look great.
Yeah, they were very clear that this is not set to exactly the games or the books. Like, they did a little bit of a variation on it. What did you say?
You said not, and I said good.
You hateful bastard.
I'm sorry, but when the actor that got chosen to play Master Chief is like can't act with a helmet on, it's just like, go fuck yourself, dude. You literally picked to play as a character that wears a helmet.
I don't know. Like I said, a lot of that he doesn't live in the thing 24/7. People act like he never takes it off ever. But in that game, on every single Halo, he takes it off all the time. But it's not the times that you're sitting there playing.
I would have rather they pulled the Mandalorian and they
even the Mandalorian
have
took
the
it
actual
off
actor in the
times.
suit half the time.
They could have done that, but when he's not fighting or in a cryogenic sleep or whatever the hell else where he would require the armor, he takes it off. Like, that expectation that he never does it is such a weird thing to me.
Get the original voice actor while he's wearing it.
That would have been cool. Honestly, that would have been very cool if they could have gotten Steve Downes to do that.
They definitely got the right Cortana. They made sure of that.
That's true.
But then they're like, oh, we don't like how he designed her. I was just like, you have the source material. Why are you changing it?
Because they didn't read the source material.
You know,
there could be different
coming
things
from
in that, but
someone who has like watched a lot of adaptations and a lot of their favorite movie or things like books and all that, and games have become movies and stuff like that. I would say about maybe only 30% of the time do people actually pay attention to the source material when developing it, which I think is real sad. So
I agree. And like I said, there's been so many different adaptations that I can't stand. That like they've crossed lines on a lot of stuff. I get that. I'm not saying everything is 100%, and I'm not even saying like it's bad that you guys are celebrating the show's dead. That's fine. I'm just saying the ones that were getting so upset over these little weird things is like, that's part of the actual series. It's just not part of the part you're actively playing, and not the whole thing isn't always going to be that. That's like saying like, oh, I'm playing this Batman game. What do you mean I'm going to all of a sudden now Bruce Wayne is here? It's like, well, he takes the cowl off on occasion. He has to go to the bathroom. I don't know. I've seen Batman's butt. Like, it happens.
Look, I'm not saying the steak wasn't delicious. I'm just saying that there's crap on it and it was overcooked.
That's fair enough. I think I do agree they could have done a better job for a lot of the stuff. And apparently other companies are looking to try and get the rights to it to see about doing a different thing.
Save it, yeah.
So
please.
So we'll see. It's mostly disappointing because Microsoft, this is one of the biggest markets they have, or biggest IPs they've got. They probably should have put more effort into that. I agree. I think it's more of just, this is like we were talking about with the Star Wars stuff, people getting so nitpicky and gripey over these weird little things that they never even give a chance to watch it and then legitimately criticize it. Like if you look at the story going, yeah, okay, this isn't for me of how they're going with it. Okay, that's fine. But some of this stuff, you're like, calm down, guys. Like, and I get it. Steven doesn't want to see his butt. But you're going to see his butt, so.
That in the Paramount app runs like a, I don't know, like a
what
switch dunked in water.
What do you watch it on? I'm kind of curious. Because I only ever watch
it on the Xbox and everything stutters.
Really? I watch it on the Series X and it runs fine for me. I wonder what that is.
And then I watch it on my TV and it's like, I'm good. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. I do all my streaming through the Series X. That's why I was kind of like, it'll chop at the very beginning when it's doing the little preview because it's catching up the stream. And then I usually don't have a problem after that. Weird. Okay. I have no idea on that one. I
blame Halo. It only does it with Halo because I don't know.
Maybe it's that bad.
It needs an update or something.
Maybe. If you pay for the right level of Xbox Live, your Halo TV show runs better.
It did. Yeah. I think it linked my account to Xbox, and it was just like, you don't have the good enough.
Did you have to treat it like the Halo Master Chief Collection, and after the third crash, you just stopped playing it?
Yes, actually, because after the third butt cheek, I was like, I'm done.
I still want us to try playing that, but Steven is so hurt from all the times he got kicked out. I'm like, we're never.
I'll try, but I'm going to tell you, three strikes, and I'm suddenly going to just disappear.
We should give that.
Imagine if we were in the middle of playing that and somehow Cloud Strike took down Xbox Live. He'd be like, I'm done. Oh man. All right, moving on to our fun little last bit of news. So we are getting a new Joy-Con charger and a possible conspiracy theory, all in the same thing. So hear me out.
Here we go again, lacing up the clown shoes.
As an engineer, I need you to answer one question.
Yes.
What does two-way mean? Why is it important I keep saying that?
Because it can either be in a playable form where you're holding it, or it can lay flat, or it can be vertical standing on that stand. That's what it means by where you can set it down. It's not locked into one set. But thank you for asking me as an engineer.
I was just like, they keep saying it in every single post.
Yeah,
what does
they're
that mean?
Weird about that. So
they're like two-way charger. I was just like, I have like 10 chargers and I've never heard of two-way.
Yeah, basically what this is. You guys remember when the Switch first came out, they had the Joy-Con grip that you could buy separately that had the USB-C charger port in it.
Yeah.
It's basically that without the grips. They released it later. They specifically showed this one with the NES controllers because these are Joy-Cons, as I show here. You can see the little slide rail. So you have to charge them either on the side of a Switch or you can put them onto this because they fit. Most chargers don't fit these because they stick out differently. There's like particular ones you can get. Like I've got one that will charge both of these and a Pro controller at the same time. Like magnetically, you can pop it off. But
I was going to put on my tinfoil hat to hear the conspiracy, but I don't.
The conspiracy theory is not that complicated, and it kind of makes sense to me because this is about why would Nintendo release this late in the Switch's life? The damn system's almost 8 years old. We've had chargers for 8 years. Nintendo could have released this way back then. Why do it now? And what I think, and what a few other people think, is that the Switch 2 will be compatible with Joy-Cons, but not able to connect and charge them, which kind of leans towards the connection of whatever the new controllers are will be different in an updated way, so that old Joy-Cons will not work on it. So you'll need a way to charge those. So here's this simple USB-C charger that can act as a grip for a controller or charge your stuff. So you can use them on Switch 2, even though you can't charge them on Switch 2.
So 3-4 Switch confirmed. Okay.
Also, don't drink at Switch 2 mentions. You also die this episode. Rachel, you look very confused.
I'm just like, you know that one meme of the guy that's doing the math on his
Oh
fingers?
yeah, no, I'm that lady with all the math around my head.
That's quite literally me right now, because I'm going.
This is the guy doing this.
I'm going. If it's the Switch 2 and the whatever controllers they are go into the sides, and so did the Joy-Cons, but just the Joy-Cons don't charge. What are they calling the new controllers?
They're not. I don't think the Joy-Cons will connect to the new Switch at all physically. Like the railing will be completely different and updated, so it doesn't have the problem some people have when they break.
Then what do you use them on?
You could still use them as extra controllers. They would just connect wirelessly. That's why you would need
to
charge these.
Think of the Wii and Wii U.
Yeah, you can use the Wii remotes on a Wii, on the Wii U. Mm-hmm. But, or you can use a GameCube controller, but you had to have an adapter. Like they would work, but they were not natively accessible. You can use a PS4 controller on a PS5, but it, or you can use the VR headset, but it needs that camera, like some kind of weird adapter.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still the math meme person trying to figure out what.
So the Switch 2 will probably have its own Joy-Cons or its own new controllers that will have, like some people theorize, the weird magnetic connector, or it'll have just a more robust, different way to connect to
I'd kind of be okay with magnets, because sometimes the Joy-Cons just I don't know. Sometimes my Joy-Cons just desync themselves when they're perfectly charged and attached to my Switch.
Yeah, that might be the railing on your Switch going out, which is part of why they were updating and changing these. I'm having to change a pair out for one of my son's friends, because his Switch that he got from me has got the broken rails on it. So I have to replace those.
Mine's an OLED, so it only happens like maybe, I don't know, every couple of months, and it's only on very certain games, and I'm like, what? So
that's weird. It might be a different thing on there, but if the Switch 2 is a new setup with those new controllers, but you can still use, because people are going to have all these Joy-Cons, you can wirelessly connect them. They still connect via Bluetooth. You just won't be able to charge them on that system like some people did. So they're like, here's an official other new charger this late in life that could carry over. Because we don't even know how much this is going to cost or when it comes out. I don't see it being super expensive. Maybe $20-25, $30 at most.
I think I know in Australia it's going to be $40, so it'll be much cheaper here.
Let's say it's Australia. Everything's expensive there.
Mm-hmm.
No,
and probably New Zealand.
Here,
Chase can tell us.
Oh,
say what?
Aussie's a little bit cheaper than New Zealand. New Zealand is where everything is just really expensive.
It's like how I would compare it to, like, if we live in Hawaii's very expensive because it's an island.
Same with Alaska.
But also, like, so for instance, if you want to buy a brand new game here in New Zealand, it costs $120.
Holy shit. Yeah, GamePass makes way more sense for you. Okay, that makes sense.
So, and then I think
the heck is wrong over there.
I think Aussie's a little bit cheaper, but not by much. Like, it's just everything's just expensive over here, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know why it costs that much.
It's an island.
Well, no, but I mean, Aussie's an island of 22 million people. So, like, it's got, like, I mean, there's a big player base there. Like, right. I can understand. I can understand New Zealand to a point because it's an island of 5 million people, even though we're only like a 4-hour flight from Aussie.
It's like, I guess it's size versus supply and demand. So,
all the population's in the northern hemispheres, so like all the population, all the money's in the northern hemisphere. I think is, but yeah, like Aussie and New Zealand are expensive, but New Zealand's really expensive. Cost of living over here.
I wonder if there's a prohibitive reason why they can't build like small production sites there to build some of these things to maybe cut down the cost of shipment. Yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of money on a lot of stuff. I get that. But like manufacturing cartridges, or
they don't want their profits to be down under as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
You think they get more building them there, but I don't know. I'm not a financial guy.
No, I get it. But yeah, it is expensive over here. So $40 Aussie. That's interesting.
Comparatively, I think they couldn't build production stuff there because then to them, the need is not large enough as it would be in other countries in different part of the world.
Yeah, so probably getting supplies and stuff there would raise the price more than anything.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, we will move on from that then and go on to our big question. But I wanted to talk about that fun little weird, like, I have a Switch 2 conspiracy. I don't know. I think this tells me that their Joy-Cons or whatever controllers they're using are going to be different somehow. Like they're the mounting point.
If I can't count the marbles in my controller, I'm going to be pissed.
Here's a thought. Do you think maybe the portable version of the Switch 2 will not have interchangeable controllers? They will be built in this time like a Steam Deck, and then you have a dedicated TV controller that's with the dock?
I kind of wouldn't, if it's backwards compatible, I kind of wouldn't mind.
That would explain the charger. That would, as long as the whatever the analog sticks on the console itself are repairable in some reasonable manner. Because that's one thing I don't like about the Switch Lite, which, by the way, I did frickin' pre-order that Zelda Switch Lite.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, well, I'm not either, and I'm not proud of it either. Damn it, Nintendo, I did it. But that's what I hate about those things. They're so hard to work on those analog sticks. So once they start drifting, you're kind of hosed. You have to take it all apart and do all that instead of just swapping Joy-Cons or working on it. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let's go over to the big question for this week. That was not the right one.
As it falls apart.
That's the right one.
It comes back.
Yeah. So, what is a character or series in gaming that has been reinvented, modernized, or rebooted that makes you yearn for the original? It can include if they have been revoiced as well. So, Steven, I think you put this one on here, so I'm going to let you go first.
So I'm going to rattle off some real quick that have, quote, just lost the vision of what made them popular.
Okay.
And some that come to mind were Def Jam Icon.
Mm-hmm.
You changed developers. You decided it was all about the music when it wasn't. It was about the artists and that they were kind of allowed to make up their own moves in the game. It was sweet. Saints Row definitely lost the plot because they said, how can we differentiate ourselves from GTA? Can't. So we'll just go back to being GTA.
The superhero one was so much fun before, I think.
I can't explain to you what happened with Bomberman Act Zero. Maybe they got the writers from the Halo TV series. I don't know. So I don't know what happened there.
Steven, I don't remember any butts in this one. All right, calm down.
Bomberman gets naked for no reason.
Speaking of naked for no reason, but not. I was shocked that when Conquer Live and Reloaded come out, I was so happy to play an HD version of Conquer, and I was like, why are you censoring all the words? It's on my Nintendo cartridge just fine. So that was like a little off.
Microsoft was like, think of the children.
But if you want to hit me right in the childhood, then give me the guy with the hot dogs for arms himself. You know, give me Bionic Commando for Xbox 360. I'm gonna save all of you like tons and tons of having to ever play through that game. The hot dog's on his arm. His bionic arm is his wife. The end.
I'm still trying to find a copy just to so we can laugh at it. But yes, no, I'm aware
But
of
if,
that.
but if
I
I
have
wanted
an
to go
action
with
figure of him. I wish I would have known.
But if I wanted to go
I
with a
would've got it.
character that they didn't even explain why, is
Uh-huh.
when they took Michael Ironside out of Sam Fisher. Because I was just like, you embody that character. That's what you think of when you hear the voice.
Didn't he
And they
retire from it,
decided
though?
just because he's slightly younger looking,
No.
he can't voice that. And I'm like, Kevin Conroy voiced both, Bruce Wayne and Batman, and you could get a high and low voice out of that too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was one of those shake your head moments.
Okay.
He got a couple of like they brought him back for the DLC for both Wildlands and Breakpoint.
Oh, okay,
But-
cool.
But that was, and it was a big deal when they did that, because everybody kind of thought that, like, oh, maybe he's coming back for the next game, but then, like, we haven't heard anything about the next game.
Yeah, we're on a clock, guys. He's only getting older. Like, let's get this
Yeah.
going.
Still making Beyond Good and Evil 2. Leave us alone.
Because he did the first 5 Splinter Cells, right? Michael
Mhm.
Ironside did.
I think he was there until I think Conviction.
Yeah.
It's when he started looking like Nathan Drake that they decided you don't need to be voiced the same. Okay.
Yeah, weird choice on that one. All right, Rachel, what about you?
Oh man.
Let's
You
keep it
guys
to
are-
10 minutes.
No, you guys already know one of the things I'm going to say, which is Peter Parker. It's not even like a voice. It's just the design, and I know why they did that. It was to more match the motion. the
Hey,
mocap
y'all, Peter
actor.
Parker here.
Yeah. Yes, like to match the mocap of the mocap actor for it, to make it easier to animate and all of that, which makes sense, like logically. But now
You're thinking
Yuri-
illogically.
Yuri Lowenthal's voice does not match that face at all. It looks like a B-movie version of what's his head?
Tom Holland?
It's Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland.
Exactly. It looks like Tom Holland's bizarro version of himself.
Yeah,
Which is
right over on
Tom
Disney
Holland.
Minus.
Exactly. So that, and then another character one is Zach Fair from Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, and of course the newest. He's a little better in the newer one in Rebirth, slightly better, but I'm very fond of the old voice actor for Zach Fair in Crisis Core, even though it sounded like it was done in a voice recording booth that was in someone's shower. And basically, someone's shower that was then covered with three blankets on each wall. That's what it sounded like. Listen, back in the day, voice acting and recording
Our PSP.
was very very like, very quick, and they did what they had to do, but I don't like this new guy as much. He's a little too nasally for me. He doesn't put as much emotion and humor into his lines as I feel that he should. I don't know. That's just me. And it just weirds me out. Takes me out of the experience. And that's one of the big things for me is when a voice actor changes, you better have a good reason for it, like a real good reason, because that can take people entirely out of their experience. And then games, Sonic 06, obviously, it was supposed to be treated as a reboot for the franchise. That did not go well at all.
Nope.
Thankfully, Sega has learned their lesson. Sega and Sonic team learned their lesson on that, and they just forget it happened for the most part. And then another one is, even though it's a good game, I had fun with it. Even though I had fun with it, was DMC Devil May Cry.
The dark days of Craftcom.
Like,
I enjoyed that game.
I've actually liked that one better than the other Devil May Cries, and I will stand by that.
So I liked it.
I thought they finally got it right.
I don't agree with that at all. I liked, like, the gameplay was good, story was good, all of that was good. That just wasn't Dante. Like, they could have made that an entirely different game with an entirely different, like, cast of characters, whatever, and it'd been perfectly fine. But that was not my Dante.
It was
Not
Dante.
Yeah.
Yeah. that was the problem. And I'm like, what was the point of that? I'm like, who's this punk ass kid? That's literally the first thing I said to myself. I'm like,
I wouldn't even have minded it, but
Yeah.
then they just poked fun at the original design where he's like, no, this looks stupid.
yeah, that's what really ticked me off. And I'm like,
don't do that.
I thought
Don't
that was
crap-
hilarious.
Don't crap on the OG.
no, it was.
I thought it was just a fun joke to have in there because everyone was like, "We
Yeah.
want that in there." Yeah, we don't. Not in this one.
Well, I mean,
Because it's not like it went away.
no, I mean, like obviously we got more of the proper Devil May Cry, but I literally was just like, what was the point? Were you trying to prove a point? Because I don't know what point you were trying to make, but the game was good. I beat it in like 2 days, but because it was a short game and it was enjoyable, but it just, why call it Devil May Cry? You could have done literally anything else. You could have, but whatever.
That's part of why they referred to it as DMC when it was on there.
Yes, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like an alternate retelling type thing. Yeah, I get it. Some people didn't like that, but
yeah, that was the only things that I could think of. I literally went over to my bookcase and stared at my game library going, which of these are remakes and which of these are reboots and modernized things that I just straight up didn't like? And there's not a lot on there that I didn't like the new Ratchet and Clank. I had fun with it.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
It was a good one. And I was like, I don't know. So I had to dig deep from many years ago. So,
Ooh.
But that's it for me.
All right. Chase, what about you?
So I didn't really. I kind of had to give. I kind of have to give Swan credit for the one that I actually put on there because if he wouldn't have mentioned it, I would have not even thought of it. Because it was kind of a bit. I had a little hard time thinking about it, but Metal Gear Solid 5 would probably be definitely one that I'd say because the whole them getting rid of David Hayter and going with the Kiefer Sutherland thing I thought was a little weird, especially because
like
yeah, because I was just like, yeah, David's been doing it like fine this entire time. I just didn't really see the whole point, but I think that was just Hideo just being Hideo. So
he wanted to work with more Hollywood actors, so
yeah,
that's what he's pushing for.
Yeah, I mean, I found this one to be a tough one. I won't like go into a long rant or anything. I found this one to be kind of a tough one because it's kind of like the whole DMC, like the discussion we just had with that. It's like they were trying to go in a different direction, right? They were trying,
right.
And like that's just what gaming does. Like we don't get mad when Final Fantasy does it like every 3 games. Sometimes. And but like
Final Fantasy 7 remake,
because like I could be like not my God of War because I loved the original 3 and stuff, but when they change to this new style, it's like, yeah, I could say that, but I'm like, I also have to just kind of understand too that they're trying to appeal to different people. They're not trying to appeal to me.
They've been fun games.
Yeah. Apparently they're still good. I just never played them.
They're very good.
It's one of those like fall in line. This isn't your daddy's God of War, or fall in line. This isn't the game you used to. So you'll have a new appreciation for it, probably, sure, but you're not going to get how you remembered playing it back.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that because like I could probably put God of War on that one actually because I did really enjoy the original ones. But yeah, no, I try to be understanding with the fact that they're trying to evolve some of these franchises to keep them going to appeal to more people and stuff.
Right.
I could say probably that a lot of people say the same thing about Gears 5. I thought Gears 5 was a good game, but
we had a lot of fun.
It didn't appeal to everybody. A lot of Gears fans. So I get it.
Well, that's a weird one. So for me, I was kind of thinking about what titles really screwed up by trying to go to mobile. And the first one that came to mind was Sim City. Because EA done screwed that up. Not even The Sims, because The Sims is still surviving pretty well. That game has probably got more DLC than anything I've ever seen.
They really said if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
then they broke
Sims 4, so much crap. But Sim City, they have ruined that to the point that we ended up getting City Skylines from another company trying to come in and make something like it. I still go back and play SimCity on the Super Nintendo, SimCity 2000 on like PlayStation and stuff like that, or PC, and a few of those. Some of those SimCity games were really, really good, but now it's mostly just stuck to limited mobile games when they're not being canceled, and they've just kind of dropped the entire thing. So that's one that I would like to see them go back to the older style. It'd be great. The other one that I haven't been too great with the modern version of it and kind of for the old ones is the Diablo series. Diablo.
I thought you were going to say Diablo Immortal.
Oh no, I haven't seen too much of that one, but like Diablo 4, yeah, it looks great, but the whole online requirement, that was one of the big drawbacks for Diablo 3 that they were eventually got smart and dropped. And once it dropped, I got it on 360, I got it on Xbox One, I got it on the Switch, I got it on PC, played it, we enjoyed the living crap out of it. We loved playing that one. I bought multiple copies for the kids in the house and everybody else so we could play it together. But then Diablo 4 is like, yeah, if you can't get online, you can't play this game. So we're pretty much not going to be bringing it to anything that could be portable whatsoever, even though that type of game is really good for being portable. You know, not saying Switch, but even like my Legion Go or a Steam Deck or something, you know, they're basically shit out of luck unless you're stuck to being online. So those I would kind of like to see go back to like Diablo 3, you know, type of requirements for online would be nice.
There's always Torchlight.
Torchlight's awesome. Chase, go ahead.
My too bad. Mrs. would have been a good one for this. She's a huge Diablo fan. She actually said, because we both got Diablo 4 together, and nice. After she played it for a little bit, she was just like, she just lost interest in it. She's
really?
Like, this is the first Diablo that she said I just have zero interest in playing anymore. And I think it's just because to her it just seems like they keep increasing the grindiness factor.
That's
yeah,
up and up and up and up and up and up, and it's just like
there was a lot of times that the treasures in the caves would respawn, and I didn't know why they kept saying, "Oh, a big huge boss is coming. Everybody go collect in that spot. Otherwise, you're not going to get such and such and such." And I was just like, that kind of takes me out of my storyline I'm doing with friends and stuff like that.
Because Diablo 3, we had so much fun getting people online and going through the story, and you know, oh well, this person's just starting out. Cool, I'll roll a new character and have that as an altar, and we'll run with it, and you know, we had fun with it. And we did it multiple times over multiple systems, so like they got it right there.
And it didn't necessarily matter what your build was or anything like that. You just ran with it, right? And this one, it seems like they're getting more into like that, almost the, dare I say, like the Division 2 endgame type thing, where like you're grinding for like certain like pieces because you're trying to like, you know, make these like very efficient builds and stuff. And it's just kind of like, oh man,
no meta, only fun.
Yeah.
Go back to that. I would love Diablo to go back to that, and I could get back into it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going back and playing 3 because it's still fun, still works great, and I don't have those weird limitations and restrictions on me. And the last one is a series I love from Nintendo that I kind of wish would come back, that has gone to kind of weird places. That's Chibi Robo. Like, absolutely love that game on GameCube. It was fantastic. It had a fun DS title that was enjoyable. Then they started doing kind of weird stuff where they had like the photo one, which I got, but it made you wander around and find items that would fit. And it was kind of a weird use of the 3DS camera. And we never really...
Or the platformer?
The platformer was fun. That's one of those I would fall in like with Chase, where they were trying something different with it and he's kind of exploring. But after that, they were like, oh, it wasn't successful, and they just kind of dropped it. I'm like, how great would it be to get, even if it's just a remake of Chibi Robo on like the Switch or Switch 2 with the graphics updated and stuff, where you're running around these big houses and doing stuff as this little robot. There's another company that's basically making, it's the people that used to make it. They're basically making a clone of it. It's almost called Chibi Robo, and it even has
Robo.
Yeah. It's even got the little heart icons and stuff. Like, it's close enough. I'd be like, Nintendo, if owns the rights for this, they may have a word with you guys. Like, y'all might be flying a little close to the sun on this one. All right. You know, yeah, it's like Chobo Rebu. Like, you're a little close there, guys. But Did any of you guys play the Chibi Robo titles? Rachel, I saw the
I
look on your
loved
face
it.
when I mentioned it on GameCube.
I loved it for GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to
And
find.
I was shocked when they wanted me to take pictures because I was just like, this is not what he does. The DS one was okay,
Amanda
but
loved it.
I didn't feel like I was getting to explore enough.
Yeah.
And then when they tried to go platformy where you just threw the plug a lot, I was just like, now you're losing what made Chibi Robo its own thing.
Yeah, it was a nice platformer, but it could have been anything else. Like, it was weird that it was Chibi Robo, I guess.
But in the vein of like when I was playing games like Mr. Mosquito for PS2, playing Chibi Robo was awesome because I wanted to explore the house and then find a plug and then see you explore some more.
Yeah, what was that Dreamcast game where you would play Toy Commander? Like, that was another one where, like, I loved.
That was good.
Yeah, we used to do that in like Quake 3 Arena and stuff too. People would make maps like where you were like tiny toy-sized people running around these houses, and I always loved those little hidden things. They were hilarious to me. So, yeah, that's the last one I would kind of want to see. Rewind the clock, go back a little bit older, and kind of use that style. All right, well, I think that is pretty well good for tonight. So we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up. If you want to talk to us, you can find us over on Twitter at Zenspath Podcast, or you can find us over on our Discord at bit.ly/Zenspath Discord. We got a few people who come on there. We talk all the time. We're sharing stuff from 3D printing to what we're playing, what we're watching, our collections, all kinds of fun little things. You get to watch Rachel absolutely lose her freaking mind over all the Beetlejuice news. And I mean, good God, lose her mind. We're happy she's happy.
Y'all don't even know. Like,
we don't. You don't.
Y'all don't know.
This is her calm. Yeah.
It's good.
So if you're listening to this and you want to watch us, you can actually see us, you can go over to youtube.com/ZenspathCom to watch the video version. Leave us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, watch it to the end. Those numbers actually help us out a lot. Leave us comments. We'll talk with you. That helps engagement as well. If you're watching this and you would like to have this on the go as an audio form, you can pretty much any of your podcast apps, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, things like that. Look for the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. Find us there, download it, leave us a 5-star review or whatever their system of choice is. Write something out. Let us know what you like or even what you don't. We want to be able to hear from you and get stuff. Don't just leave a 1-star review with nothing there. You're just being a baby. Come on, help us out. But yeah, so I've been your host, Jeremy Powers, and that's been episode 135 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast, and we're out. Peace.
Where can we find you, Chris?
Chris?
Has anyone seen Chris?
Is he punching boulders again?